Welcome into Extra Time. Frank Leboeuf and Gab Marcotti with me to answer some of your questions. Who was the better player in their prime, Gab? De Rossi or Gattuso?
Ooh, I'm going to go with, much as I love Ringio Gattuso, I got to go with DDR here. Daniele De Rossi was also, first of all, he had goals in him. He was a tremendous header of the ball, as well as obviously being able to put the boot in defensively. I think he was also a much better passer than Rino Gattuso was. Now, if you're talking about drive and in midfield, I think it's pretty much even. But total package, I would have to go with De Rossi.
Frank?
Yes, I agree with Gabi. I saw them play many times. I have had the chance to play one game against De Rossi for a tribute for Vincent Candela in Roma, and I had the chance to have his shirt. And I really like the guy. I mean, I like the whole package, the way he was playing, but the way he was behaving more than Gattuso. Gattuso was a rebel, where I think Daniele De Rossi was a hard guy, but he was a lover of football, and I liked the spirit of the guy.
Do you have a lot of shirts, Frank?
I do, but I gave it to the chairman. Well, I loaned it to the chairman of Stade de Reims, who has a museum, and I gave him like 15 shirts to put him in the museum because they are in my cupboard and they're useless. So he wanted them. So now you can see them in the museum in Reims.
What's your prize? Champagne. What's your prized possession? Your prized shirt swap?
Well, obviously you have the World Cup final shirt, but I have the 100th century shirt Barcelona from Rivaldo, and the same from Guardiola. I've got Zidane shirt. I've got the 100 cap from Didier Deschamps shirt.
Well, yeah.
I've got so many others as well. Yes, I've got Vieira, Petit, Wiltord from Arsenal as well. So yeah, I have nice shirts.
Yeah, what have you got, Gab?
I certainly can't compete with that in terms of shirt collections. I have an autographed Ronaldo shirt, which somebody gave me as a gift, but overall, and this is going to sound incredibly boring, I don't collect original shirts because guess what? I cover these people, so I don't want to. It really wouldn't be fair if you go and you have to go and write mean things about somebody or give harsh opinions, and then you've got their shirt up on their wall. Not really my thing.
For Frank, your best Chelsea teammate other than Gianfranco Zola?
That would be Mark Hughes. Really, for me, when we were under pressure, because I could reach him, and he was able to keep the ball for ages, and allowing me to put my defense up and hold the block up. And we always talk with Craig about him, saying that he was the worst player for training session during the week, but always almost the best when we had the game on Saturday. Fantastic guy, fantastic warrior, fantastic player. I mean, what he did for Manchester United and for Chelsea was absolutely spot on. I mean, I loved him. Yeah.
If Gab or Frank, let's go with Gab first, were advising Koulibaly, where would you suggest he should make his next move, Gab?
Ooh. That's a good question. I mean, I think Koulibaly is one of the top 3 defenders in the world. I think he's not just a phenomenal athlete. He's really smart as well. I think he reads the game very well, and he's made a ton of progress over the last 5 or 6 years. So he can write his own ticket, I think, in some ways. I might suggest that, I don't know what my options are here in terms of where he would go, but I know he's been linked to Liverpool. But I might actually suggest a club like Manchester United. I think he would be a really good fit alongside Harry Maguire. So that might be something to consider, just simply because I think their skill sets they would complement each other very well.
Why would you tell him to go to a club that isn't even in the Champions League, isn't even competing for titles, Gab?
Why would I do that? Because it's the theater of dreams. It's the bigger look. I mean, you're asking me where he'd be a good fit. I mean, look, The reality is...
You're asking... He's
the reason I didn't
rung
say
me up and said,
Liverpool is
Gab,
Koulibaly and Van Dijk are too
Gab,
similar.
I can go anywhere in the world.
It'd be
Where should
great
I
at
go?
City,
Go
come
to
on.
Manchester United.
Okay, all right, then go to a really good team and go and win something as a passenger. Why don't you go to Liverpool? They already won without you, then you can come along and say, hey, look, I won with me too. Sometimes it's nice to build things rather than to go and come in on the last day and reap the benefits of everybody else's work.
Frank?
I would never ask him to go to Manchester United for many reasons, because I want him to win some stuff, and I think Manchester United is not the club that they used to be, and they're not ready to win stuff. I think Liverpool will be a good fit with Van Dijk. That would be fantastic. Paris Saint-Germain as well with, I think, Marquinhos. That would be two great central defenders. I think Chelsea will need a player like that. I don't know if Koulibaly would be interested, but even if they have two very good central defenders, Koulibaly, I think, belongs to another level and will fit very well. But definitely, I know he has a link with Liverpool. Van Dijk and Koulibaly at the back, my God, that's going to be another red season, I guess.
Yeah, but Frank, Liverpool have already won things. Where's the fun in that for Koulibaly, going and winning more things?
I don't know, you have to make a choice, at a certain point. The question was, what was the best fit for Koulibaly? Which player he could play his best football? And definitely with Van Dijk, and when you're a defender like Koulibaly, that would be the best central defense in the world.
Okay, I have two questions and would like your thoughts on them. How do you view the future of AC Milan with Maldini leaving and replaced by German Ralf Rangnick? Gab?
I mean, look, obviously Maldini's a resident icon, but I think you look at what came before, you look at some of the choices that were made, and you look at the fact that the club have a very clear direction in which they want to go. And, if Maldini's not going to be part of it, then I think it's best to start over. I think they've said that they're going to try to be clever about their signings. They're going to push youth. They're going to look for value. I think you saw that already with players like Theo Hernandez, like Benacer, both of whom came in the summer. I think that is the reality of this club right now, of where they are, given all the mistakes that were made before, given all the bad contracts that they inherited from before. So I think what's going to be important is if you stick with a guy, if you bring in a guy like Rangnick, giving him the support, but then you have to stick to the plan. And I felt that while Maldini was there, a lot of decisions were kind of, I don't know, maybe made on gut feel or whatever. Ultimately, the decision to bring in Marco Giampaolo, which was absolutely disastrous, that was on Maldini. That's when he was there. So if he doesn't want to be a part of it anymore, if he doesn't feel like he can be a part of it, then he shouldn't be somewhere if he doesn't feel like he's part of the project, if that makes any sense. So Milan need to move on regardless. They've chosen a path. I think it's the right path given the circumstances. Let's see how it turns out.
Second part of the question is, have you watched Sunderland Till I Die, Gab, and what can you learn from it?
Of course I've watched Sunderland Till I Die. I've watched both seasons, in fact. I thought Charlie Methven was a load of fun in the second season. I think what you're learning on a more serious note is that this is a club which has a Premier League setup in many ways in terms of costs and the fan base and whatever else that simply can't live up to it. And while sometimes it's entertaining in a car crash way for some people, I was just kind of moved by all those guys, all those men and women who just live for the club every week. And I just wish there was more transparency, because I remember all those owners Sunderland had over the years going and spending. I'm not talking about Ellis Short so much, because obviously he pared down the debt, but all those people who came in and signed guys to enormous contracts and threw money around and whatever, and says, "Ooh, will you back the manager?" and whatever. And the whole time, no transparency and whatever. Now, the reality is chickens come home to roost, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Sunderland to climb back out, regardless of who's in charge. And people paying the price for it, I think, are the fans.
Great title music. That's my 2 pennies about that show. Who will Spurs sign this summer? Wait, I can answer that. No one. That true, Gab?
Well, look, I mean, there's no question that they would like to sign some players, but equally, I don't quite know. I need to do more reporting on it, but this statement that came out where they said that, you know, they were borrowing, was 170 million in public money because they expect losses of 200 million this year, and that money's going to be ring fenced, so it's obviously not going to be used on players. That suggests to me that there isn't a lot of money to go around. So I think unless they manage to sell players, I don't know who they can bring in or how they're going to bring them in. I think they're just going to have to buckle down and grind it out. I mean, it would certainly look very, very bad on the club if they started throwing money around while having borrowed, like I said, 170 million pounds, in excess of $200 million of public money.
Frank, since you speak multiple languages, do you have any tips for those of us learning new languages as adults?
Watching TV with a subtitle in the original language, and reading newspapers helped me out a lot to learn English. But I think there is no advice that I can give for who's going to work for certain people and others. But I think drowning inside the country you want to live in and not speaking your own language helps a lot to know better and to learn quicker.
Gab, you speak 27 languages. What advice do you have?
I totally agree with Frank. I think TV plays a huge part just in developing your ear to the language and also to different accents. I'm sure when Frank came over and he sort of, you know, heard that, like, you know, Scousers from Liverpool sound completely different to Geordies from the Northeast, who sound different to Cockneys from East London. You know, that's a whole sort of difference within a single country. Back in the day, if you happen to be single, the old joke used to be, you know, get a girlfriend or boyfriend from whatever country where you want to learn a language. That can usually be a big help as well. But of course, I assume that that's not an option for some people.
Right. Thanks, Gab. There's a phrase, but I can't say it because I get into trouble. Okay, final thing. Which cuisine is better, French or Italian? Which country has a more snobby attitude about their food and contempt for other countries' cuisine? I think we talked about this before, Gab. I think you agreed French was better, yeah?
Yes, we have had this before. I think overall, in terms of the absolute breadth of French cuisine, I think it's more sophisticated. I think in Italy we have better produce, we have better raw materials. But I mean, those are two of my favorite cuisines in the world, you know, so it comes down, I think it's going to come down to very much to personal preference. In terms of the snobbiness, I will say this. I don't view it as snobbiness. Going to a restaurant and demanding good food is something everybody should do. And every summer I drive down to Italy, I drive through France, and I know that in France, even if I rock up to sort of the crappiest little roadside brasserie, odds are I'm going to eat well because the people who live there are going to demand that whoever lives there cooks good food, properly cooked. They don't put up with garbage. They don't deal with this, oh, well, you know, like it's just fuel type thing. So hats off to France. I think people should be more snobby. People should be more demanding about their food because, hey, it's a big part of our culture.
Having said all that, Frank, you don't care about food that much, no?
Well, I like sometimes good meal, but it's true that it's mostly for me eating to give some gas in my or petrol in my essence in my body and to live my life. But it's true that I like pastas, and you know the competition we have between Italians and French is like, you know, like we have a competition for everything. Who dresses the best, who has the best country, who has the best wine, who has the best food, who has the best women, who has the best men. I mean, that's for over centuries has been a big competition. And I think I love the Italian cuisine. I mean, that's unbelievable. And at some point when you go to Italy, as Gabi said for the French people, Italian, they want to eat properly as well. So it's part of our, you know, maybe competition that we developed, that we want to have a good food and we want to dress well and we want to drink well, and that's part of our culture. But it's different food. I love to go in some different district and region in France to eat choucroute or cassoulet or crepes or something else, and different wines, Bordeaux, Bourgogne, whatever it is. But I guess it's the same in Italy, and we can share good things. The only thing we cannot share is champagne, because they can't use the name. I think they say Prosecco, but champagne is very from Reims and the area of Champagne. You can't call it in any other places in the world champagne.
That's it. We're done. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Go and have some champagne, Prosecco, whatever you fancy. Have a lovely weekend. We will, though, be back here tomorrow. Be sure to join us then. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.